Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. There are several developments. For instance, the Supreme Court of Pakistan, in its infinite wisdom, has postponed the hearing of Imran Khan's petition related to the bail given on May 9th against the Lahore High Court's decision. The hearing, which was expected to begin in the first week of August, has been delayed to around August 12th or 13th. At the same time, the leader of the opposition in Pakistan's National Assembly, Mr. Umar Ayub, has written a letter to the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Mr. Yahya Afridi, stating that the way cases of meth or drugs are being heard is no longer justice, but has turned into a witch hunt, revenge and vendetta, and the Supreme Court needs to look into this. Umar Ayub is aware of the situation after the 26th constitutional amendment and the impact of Justice Qazi Faiz Isa's rulings, so under the circumstances he sent this letter to the Supreme Court. This is subject to interpretation. On July 27th, a hidden leader of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Murad Saeed, tweeted a warning that Pakistan's establishment is starting a new war in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa district, with a massacre of civilians in Tira Valley being the beginning of this war aimed at displacing people and taking away resources. Following this, on July 29th, the Deputy Commissioner of Bajaur district imposed a curfew and announced a new military operation there. This is not the first military operation in Bajaur, but its significance is being noticed. In India's Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament, there was a stormy debate regarding Operation Sindoor, a special session about the operation post-Pahalgam and its significance. We often ignore Pakistan's National Assembly speeches because Pakistan's parliament has little significance. But the Indian parliament does have an impact. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that no leader in the world has ever asked the Indian Prime Minister to stop the war with Pakistan. Meanwhile, Donald Trump keeps issuing new statements every 24 or 48 hours. On Monday, during a meeting with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his wife Victoria in Britain, he said that if he had not stopped the India-Pakistan war, it would still be ongoing. According to him, until July 28 or 29, the war would have continued, potentially leading to nuclear destruction. I want to explain this a bit regarding the Indian debate on Operation Sindoor. In the past 48 hours, India claimed that 3 terrorists responsible for the Pahalgam attack near Srinagar have been killed, including Hamza of the SSG or Afghan group. India's National Investigation Agency, or NIA, detectives have reached there to investigate. There is some unconfirmed media leak that the 3 killed were the same terrorists responsible for Pahalgam. The question remains why they were killed and not captured. This raises questions in both Pakistan and India. All the developments I shared are headlines from newspapers worldwide, especially from India, Pakistan and the West. Now I will give you my interpretation and analysis. Among all these, the most important global development is the ongoing trade talks between the USA and China, mediated by Sweden's Prime Minister's office in Stockholm. Initially, the talks seemed optimistic on Monday, but by Tuesday, July 29, the talks ended without conclusion, causing disappointment. The US Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who led the talks, said they cannot comment yet and will brief Donald Trump, who will decide on extending the 90-day ceasefire agreement. There have been 2 previous rounds of negotiation, one in Geneva and one in London. The ceasefire involves the US imposing a 30% duty on Chinese imports and China imposing a 10% duty on American imports. However, the US added an additional 20% duty on fentanyl-related imports due to misuse issues in the US. The talks failed to conclude, and Scott Bessent said Trump will decide on extending the ceasefire for another 90 days. The Americans are desperate and want China to lift restrictions on rare earth metals exports to the US, Europe and the West immediately. China, on the other hand, wants to reduce the 10% base duty on American goods and demands lifting restrictions on advanced technology exports, especially regarding Nvidia's AI chips, which the US currently blocks. On the same day, July 29, Chinese officials met with top tech companies like Apple in Beijing to discuss this. I recommend reading the book Apple in China by Patrick McGee, which explains how Apple has transferred advanced technology to China over the last 15 years, despite US national security concerns. These global issues are very important, and the world's attention is on them. Now back to Pakistan. The Supreme Court has postponed the hearing of Imran Khan's petition. Salman Akram Dada appeared strongly in the Supreme Court, arguing that the hearing should start soon, but the bench, led by Chief Justice Yahya Afridi, postponed it to August 12th or 13th. Umar Ayub, the opposition leader, wrote a letter to the Chief Justice urging justice regarding the harsh sentences given in May 9th cases to several politicians, including Yasmin Rashid, Sarfraz Umar Chima and others, while some, like Shah Mahmood Qureshi, were pardoned. He argues that these sentences are not justice but revenge. Umar Ayub knows well that the Supreme Court has limited power and will decide as per the Pakistan establishment's wishes, mainly General Asim Munir or GHQ. So why did Umar Ayub write this letter? It demands attention and shows confusion within the GHQ and establishment about Pakistan's political future related to Imran Khan and PTI. It seems Chief Justice Yahya Afridi needs to consult with military officials like colonels or brigadiers, who in turn need to consult others like DGISI to decide the Supreme Court's verdict. Legally speaking, this is an extremely absurd and useless kind of case. It's like if a case were made against me and you for starting World War II, and an FIR, a First Information Report, was registered, witnesses brought in. Obviously, legally and constitutionally, these cases are bogus cases. There is nothing in them. Whatever is here is political management. An insider who is a genuine bona fide insider of Pakistan's current judicial situation told me yesterday in a nearly 1-hour conversation that the current situation of the Supreme Court in Pakistan is worse than the High Courts. The High Courts and the Supreme Court have now become just an administrative extension of Pakistan's executive and GHQ, the general headquarters, meaning whatever decisions are made, they come from GHQ. After that, the court just writes and announces those decisions. So this is the situation you can understand. Now, about the confusion in GHQ, you can guess the level of confusion from the fact that in Bajaur, once again a military operation has started. The Deputy Commissioner there issued a notification and order imposing a curfew for at least 3 days until 31st July, stating that they are starting a new military operation against Fitna Hindustan. That's a term used for turmoil caused by India, and Khawarij, a term for rebels or extremists. Sometimes it's Khawarij, sometimes Fitna Hindustan, sometimes something else. They decided to start an operation against these groups. Now I want you to think carefully. Bajaur may have women living there, men living there, children's schools, colleges, roads, Eid celebrations, businesses, trade. There must be something there inside Bajaur. People living in or related to Bajaur would know, but I swear to God, since I opened my eyes in the last 25 years, whenever I have heard the name Bajaur, I've only heard that there is an operation going on in Bajaur. Terrorists have been killed in Bajaur. There was an attack in Bajaur. Another operation has started in Bajaur. Repeatedly. Has Bajaur been cleared of terrorists or made to be cleared? We have been hearing this story for 25 years. Our ears are tired. Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing, repeatedly expecting different results. From this, you can understand the confusion in Pakistan's GHQ and the current regime that once again, a military operation has been started in Bajaur. So, if there is so much confusion about Bajaur, now you can better understand how confused the Supreme Court, Imran Khan and PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf are. You can connect the dots yourself. Now coming to India, let me take a short break here. I'm taking this break only because I don't know how good the internet speed is here. If I do it all in one piece, I may not be able to upload it. I can manage smaller files somehow. In the Indian Parliament Lok Sabha on 29th July, there was a debate which is related to Pakistan. That's why I am discussing this, along with the news of killing 3 terrorists in Srinagar, or at least the claim of such, related to Pahalgam, which happened within 48 hours. There is also an unrelated development. Pakistan's Foreign Minister, Mr. Dar, who is the interim Deputy Prime Minister, or Deputy Prime Minister, so to speak, recently held a press conference in New York. In the Quanda session, his main point, or at least the headlines in Pakistani newspapers, were that Mr. Ishaq Dar said Pakistan is fully ready to conduct composite dialogue and talks with India, including on Kashmir. The headline was framed as if India had very high expectations or was demanding dialogue, and Pakistan was not ready. The headline was made as if Pakistan was ready for every kind of discussion, including Kashmir, which was portrayed as if Pakistan was finally willing to engage seriously. Now, let's put all this together. One day before, Rahul Gandhi raised a strong challenge in the Lok Sabha on Operation Sindoor. He challenged Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying that in India, the government and opposition conduct discussions respectfully, so the Prime Minister should clarify whether he refrained from continuing Operation Sindoor due to pressure from Donald Trump. After that, in the Indian Lok Sabha, almost every important leader whose name is known spoke. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke continuously for 102 minutes. That's 1 hour and 42 minutes. India's Home Minister Amit Shah also spoke. Rahul Gandhi spoke again in response. Rahul Gandhi's sister, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, also spoke. Amit Shah mentioned Indira Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, so Priyanka Gandhi responded as well. All these speeches focused on Pakistan, Pahalgam, Kashmir, Trump and Operation Sindoor. Narendra Modi's exact words, as I heard, were that no leader in the world has ever asked India to stop the war with Pakistan on any platform. He shared details about his talks with US Vice President J.D. Vance, who kept trying to call him on the phone since May 9th, 2025. But Modi was busy with his top military leadership and could not take the call. When his military meetings ended, he returned the call. Earlier in April, when the Pahalgam terrorism incident occurred, J.D. Vance was in India with his aide, an American professional known as Hindustani Nazad. Modi said that when he finally called back, a worried J.D. Vance told him that Pakistan was about to launch a major attack on India. If J.D. Vance said this, we don't know who convinced him that Pakistan was capable of such a big attack on India. You can decide for yourself whether a 2+2, India and Pakistan, war was possible or not. Could the Zardari Asim regime in Pakistan have dared to launch such a large attack on India? According to Narendra Modi on the Lok Sabha floor, J.D. Vance told him this. Keep in mind also that Donald Trump again said he pressured India to stop the war to avoid nuclear war, otherwise India and Pakistan would still be fighting. So it seems the Trump administration was certain or worried or was told Pakistan was heading toward a nuclear war. This is my analysis and interpretation. Modi told J.D. Vance that if Pakistan does such a thing, India will teach Pakistan a lesson. The bottom line of Modi's speech is that Pakistan's DGMO, Director General of Military Operations, asked for a ceasefire because Pakistan was alarmed and troubled by the attacks India launched based on Pakistan's bases and wanted to stop the war. The Pakistani version is obviously the opposite. Pakistan claims that when Pakistan did missile strikes, which US intelligence believes were inaccurate and failed to hit targets in India, India got so alarmed and upset that they desperately sought a ceasefire. This is Pakistan's official version, and perhaps 90% of Pakistanis believe this happened, that India pushed for peace. Now, in this Pakistani version, where does Donald Trump fit? Because many Pakistani decision-makers, including the Sharif family, military officials and ISPR, have thanked Donald Trump many times for pushing for ceasefire. So if India was so desperate for a ceasefire and crying out, why do they keep thanking Donald Trump repeatedly? I don't understand that. Anyway, this is the background in which Rahul Gandhi once again made a strong speech, saying that there was no political will to continue Operation Sindoor. If there had been political will, the operation would not have ended due to pressure from the US or anyone else. He also accused Indian top military officers and the defense minister of telling Pakistan 30 minutes after Operation Sindoor started that India didn't want to continue and wanted ceasefire. This reflects lack of determination and political will in Modi's government. Responding to this, Priyanka Gandhi accused that Indira Gandhi had a clear determination and gave full freedom to her forces during the 1971 war, the Bangladesh Liberation War. At that time, Sam Manekshaw said they couldn't fight in summer, but would fight closer to winter, and he was given a free operational hand. Narendra Modi has not given Indian forces such free hand to fight Pakistan. Now, in this entire debate 48 hours ago, it was claimed in India that in Srinagar, an elite paramilitary unit killed 3 terrorists with hideouts where they cooked their own food. The Indian claim is these terrorists were spotted when using a satellite phone similar to the one used near Pahalgam in April. After April, May, June and July passed with no further satellite signals detected by Indian military. They used satellite signals after 3 months, which is hard to digest. They were killed, but it was not claimed officially that they were linked to Pahalgam. There is silence on this, but privately the Indian media was told that these were the same people responsible for Pahalgam terrorism. If that's true, they should have been caught alive, especially since they were using the same kind of satellite phone as in Pahalgam. It was more important to capture them alive, to prove to the world who they were and what they did, and that they came from Pakistan. 1.5 days ago, Chidambaram, a former Indian Home Minister from Congress, accused Narendra Modi's government of having no convincing evidence that the Pahalgam attackers came from Pakistan. He said the attackers were present inside Kashmir, and in Pakistan, 99% people doubt that it was a false flag or that it happened inside India. Some small voices in India also doubt Modi government's explanation of Pahalgam. I'm citing secondary and tertiary sources for this. I don't want to draw any conclusion. I just want people to make their own decisions about what they think happened in Pahalgam and what is happening afterward. Now, it's clear that the story was closed by killing the people responsible for Pahalgam. If you look at it from the point of view of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's team, then Dar Sahib and his government are just trying to create confusion. They want to show a willingness for composite dialogue to gain some diplomatic advantage, but their real intent is unclear. So, overall, the entire situation is very complex. On one hand, you have political and military confusion inside Pakistan, where courts are extensions of the military and multiple military operations have been ongoing for decades in regions like Bajaur without real resolution. On the other hand, in India, there is heated political debate in Parliament over issues like Operation Sindoor, Kashmir, and how to handle terrorism and cross-border attacks. Rahul Gandhi and other opposition leaders have challenged the government on its political will and decisions, accusing them of lacking determination compared to historical wars like 1971. Amid all this, Pakistan's statements about willingness for dialogue and India's claims of successful military operations make the picture even more complicated. The key takeaway is that the conflict and tension between the two nations remain very high, with lots of conflicting narratives, political posturing and military actions intertwined. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.